Now I'd like to introduce a man that has seen the future, took action, and made it happen. As executive chairman of Ford Motor Company, William Clay Ford Jr. is leading the company to put the world on wheels in the 21st century. He is a founding partner of Fontanellis Partners, which is an investor in the intelligent transportation sector. He continues to pursue his long life interest in mobility and the environment in new arenas. In all the activities that he seeks, he's always seeking value for the shareholders and making the world a better place. Mr. Ford joined Ford Motor Company in 1979, and he's held positions in manufacturing, sales, marketing, product development, and finance. He became a member of the board of directors in 1988, and he's been the chairman since 1999. In 2001, he became the chief executive officer, and during his tenure as CEO, he took the company from a loss of $5.5 billion to 3 straight years of profitability. He assumed the role of executive chairman in 2006. In his spare time and his charitable, volunteer, and business efforts, his highlight is the commitment to the city of Detroit. As vice chairman of the Detroit Lions, he led his effort to build a new and environmental-friendly stadium in Detroit. He is chairman of the board of the Detroit Economic Club and a member of the board of trustees of the Henry Ford. He's a board of directors of eBay and a chairman of the new Michigan Initiative of Business Leaders for Michigans. With so many activities, we are honored to have Mr. Bill Ford join us here at the IETS World Congress. So please help me welcome Executive Chairman of Ford Motor Company, Mr. Bill Ford.
Thanks, Pat. Thanks. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you, Pat, and thank you to all of you, and thank you to the World Congress for having me here. And I really mean thank you, because I had a chance to get out on the floor and see what's going on. And I tell you, if you can't get inspired by what's on the floor and what's in the parking lot, I don't think you have a pulse. It's incredible. It is the future. And I'd like to talk a little bit about how I see the future this morning. So any discussion about transportation really begins with one question, which is, where are we going? And that's what I'd like to talk about today. And I'm going to share my views with you on the future of transportation, the challenges we face, as well as the opportunities that lie ahead. And as you might expect, I'll be talking from an automotive perspective. But as you'll see, even in the auto industry, the future lies far beyond the individual vehicle. Today, we're experiencing the most dramatic changes to our products and our industry since the assembly line over 100 years ago. The connection revolution has begun, a new era of innovation and collaboration that's really going to transform personal mobility. But before I talk about this exciting future, I want to take a brief look backwards, because as we address the challenges that lie ahead of us, it's important and helpful to remember the progress that we've already made. When I joined Ford Motor Company 32 years ago, the auto industry was a very different place, technically, and probably even more so culturally. Culturally, we were very insular. We didn't want any outside advice or interference. And when it came to broader issues, such as the environment, we were content to merely comply with regulations, and we didn't pursue leadership. As a matter of fact, at the start of my career, I was asked to stop talking about green issues and stop associating with environmental groups. I had no intention of doing so. I didn't stop associating with environmental groups, and I didn't stop talking about environmental issues. And thankfully, over the years, my ideas, which at one stage it seemed very radical, have become consensus views. Today in the auto industry, we're not content to merely comply with regulations. We're competing to be the leaders in safety and the sustainability of our vehicles. we're improving their efficiency and reducing their impact on the environment. Our efforts to protect the environment are not only the right thing to do, but frankly, they're the best thing to do for our businesses. The difficult challenges we face as a society and as an industry also present us with an incredible opportunity to add value for our stakeholders and our shareholders. As concerns about the availability of fuel and the affordability of fuel as well, and the impact of CO2 emissions on the environment continue to grow, companies that innovate to address these issues will be the clear winners in the marketplace. Fortunately, our industry has finally embraced the environmental challenge, and the tools we have today to confront these concerns are advancing rapidly. In recent years, there have been many breakthroughs in technology that are allowing us to make improvements that we could only dream about even a few years ago. As I look ahead, I'm actually truly optimistic about what we'll be able to do with individual vehicles. Thanks to advanced technology, we are making tremendous progress. At Ford, we placed a big, audacious bet. We said we want to be the leader in fuel economy in each segment that we participate in. So we're investing billions in researching and developing new fuel-efficient products. We now have 14 vehicles with best-in-class fuel economy and 4 models that get at least 40 miles per gallon. And our goal is to reduce the CO2 emissions of our new vehicles by 30% by the year 2020. And what makes me confident that we will do all this is that we kept investing in technology during the dark days of our industry, 2006 through 2009, even as many of our competitors were cutting back. And by the end of this year, we'll begin rolling out our new Focus electric vehicles in the US. And in 2012, we'll begin producing our C-Max hybrid and the C-Max Energy, our first plug-in hybrid. And next year, we will also be introducing our first 3-cylinder engine. We're making great progress with our vehicles. But as I said at the beginning of my remarks, many of our challenges we now face go far beyond individual vehicles. When we do the math and we look at the total global vehicle population, there's cause for real concern. There are about 7 billion people in the world today, and that number is expected to grow to about 9 billion in our lifetime. And at the same time, the world is becoming more prosperous. Increasingly, consumers in emerging markets such as India and China can afford to buy automobiles. Right now, there are about 1 billion cars on the road worldwide. And with more people and greater prosperity, that number could grow to between 2 and 4 billion by mid-century. And even with zero emissions and renewable energy sources, 4 billion cars are still 4 billion cars. Used unwisely, they could present a serious challenge to economic, social, and environmental progress. In the decades to come, 75% of the world's population is expected to live in cities, and 50 of those cities will have more than 10 million people. And that raises the possibility of what I call global gridlock, a never-ending traffic jam that wastes time, energy, and resources.